I have no idea why, like, it just doesn't want to work the first time I connect it. It just doesn't. I don't know if it's the cord, and now it's all loose. Ugh. That's better. I don't know if it's the cord. I don't know what it is, but every time it just doesn't want to work in the beginning, and I get so frustrated with it. But then it want to work. Oh yeah. Doing podcasting is stressful sometimes, and I have very little amount of tea. My lip color is all over this glass, though. It's ridiculous. I'm tired. I've been struggling. I hurt myself. I hurt my toe, and then I had to work. I would injure toe like right after, and that was awful. I never know. I never knew how much a hurt toe could just like affect you, and how much like working through being hurt could just really exhaust you. I'm still recovering for it. Plus, I podcasted today again. And obviously, I'm late on this episode because I was injured and I literally had no energy. And we were supposed to record or like cover a TV show or a movie. Mm, but we do have some interesting topics because outside of social media, or I'm sorry, outside of what's going on like pop culture, there's a lot of stuff going on in social media that's not TV shows, that's not movies, that's not music, that is like what is happening. So we're going to get into the episode and then we'll see. Before we get back into the episode, let's talk. I am looking for my unhinged authors. Yeah, you, the ones writing the women who don't apologize, the ones building worlds that don't center the patriarchy, the ones with a story that feels a little too bold for traditional spaces. Good. Stay right there. Pages Against the Patriarchy is now looking for authors to join our live online book event. This is not your average polite bookish panel. This is for stories that bite back, for characters who choose themselves, and for writers who are done shrinking. If you're an indie author, romance, fantasy, poetry, whatever your lane is, and your work challenges norms or flips the narrative, we want you in the room. Head to pagesagainstthepatriarchy.com to apply. That's pagesagainstthepatriarchy.com. Let's build something loud. Let's build something unapologetic. And let's get back to the episode. Hey, Unbothered fam, and welcome back to another episode of Basically Unbothered. Late. I'm late. I'm so sorry to you guys who were expecting the episode to come out on Friday like it normally does. I had some life situations that were happening and it prevented me from being able to record the podcast. And I, oh, I am a person who loves to show up for people. And when I'm unable to show up for people, I feel really, really bad about myself. So I feel so terrible that I didn't get this episode out to you guys sooner. I'm so sorry. Um, just know that if it didn't come out like it was, I just didn't have it in me. I truly, honestly just didn't have it in me. If you didn't get this episode, if you don't get something from me, it's simply because like I couldn't do it. I will often sacrifice like my own health and my own mental health to keep my word. And obviously that if it was at that point that I just couldn't be there for you. But I am still really sorry. We are going to get into it. I've taken some notes. I've been just keeping up with social media, guys, and social media has been wild. We talked about this on the podcast, but the Coachella Sabrina Carpenter stuff, Justin Bieber, you guys letting Justin Bieber gaslight you into thinking that him sitting down and playing music off his laptop is a set is insane. The very bare minimal that you are giving and allowing is insane. But that's not even the craziest headlines. Let's start with some of the craziest headlines that I've seen so far. And this was a CNN report that there was, and I want to Google this so that I can really truly give you guys. So based on a CNN investigation released April 2026, this site got over 62 million visits, and it was basically a site teaching men how to rape women. It's being insane. It profits off of the abuse of women. I've looked at videos, and there were like topics about what drugs to use, what kind of things to give your wife so that you can have sex with her and so that she doesn't remember. There were videos, there were photos posted, and topics being discussed on how to do these things and get away with it. And it's just the grossest thing I think I've ever, maybe not ever heard, but like, you have to be bottom of the barrel low to be sitting here wanting, looking and searching and engaging in a website that educates you on how to force women to engage with you in a way. Like, it's sick. It is so sick. And I was watching this video, and they were talking about how this isn't a trend. There's a trend in like Brazil where they were attacking women or teaching men how to attack women who say no to them. And I know friends who will not say no to guys because of the fear of this. That's insane. You These men who claim that they are so evolved and they're emotionally mature, and women are the emotional one, and you can't handle somebody saying no without beating them up. We have to have a conversation about that. What do you mean? What do you mean that you can't handle being told no without having the desire to hurt someone? And people wonder why I'm not dating right now. I This is crazy. The fact that this site exists shows just how detrimental men are to society. And my favorite thing is that male creators are coming out here and they're having conversations about it. And they're having conversations about it's not just some men, it's all men until it's no men. Because men, like you guys, aren't holding each other accountable, because what do you mean this group existed and not a single one of these men reported it and said, oh, hey, actually, guys, this is not okay. Talk about finding a group of people to meet your like nasty, disgusting needs. Yeah. That's sick. It's so sick. It's so sick. And you guys just eat it up. And when women tell you about men and you're like, it's not all men, it's not all men. We're like, yeah, no, we know it's not all men, but men aren't holding men accountable. Because there's a conversation one of the TikTokers was saying, so what do you mean that you don't think that these men shared this site with other men? And be like, oh, hey, go look at this site. Hey, go look at women being abused. Hey, you should go check this out. And not a single man said, um, let me expose this. Let me post this on social media and say, this is what men are doing. Because regardless if you believed in it or not, you were complicit in allowing this thing to exist. Like you allowed this thing to exist that was detrimental to women, and you truly, honestly did not care. You said, oh, well, okay. So what if it hurts women? What does that matter? It's not hurting me. It's not affecting me. And mm, that's the issue. And the other issue that bugs me is that when I have conversations about men and about the abuse of men and everything like that, they're always like, well, there's so many men that are married. And they use that married men as an excuse to the behavior that's happening. And, or to say that, hey, this can't be so because look at all these married men and these happy marriages. Well, guess what? A lot of them were in this group. A lot of them were trying to figure out how to attack and hurt their wives. And the scariest thing is, as a wife, are you now looking at your husband differently? Are you now saying, huh, were you a part of this group that was looking to hurt me and to attack me and to do all these other things? Like, you think you know who to trust. And I truly hope you do, but these men were being taught how to make women trust them, how to convince women to let them in their house and let them in their door, and then how to betray that trust. And that's not something that's new. That's something that we discussed when we talked about the traders and how everybody thought that it wasn't detrimental at the time. And I'm like, no, this is a bigger issue. This displays a bigger problem. This is talking about men, whether it's to convince women so that they can betray them finances or life situations or in a game, that men are working on perfecting ways to charm women, to tell women what they want to hear, and then to get them to trust them with the intention all along that they're going to betray them, that they're going to hurt them, that they're going to let them down. And when I talk about it, everyone just becomes so mad at me and they attack me like I'm the villain in this situation. It's like, no, I'm not the villain in this situation. I didn't create this shit. This shit existed. I'm just calling it out. And the fact that it has to come from me and it's not coming from the men that were in this situation, and still no one has come forward to say anything because they're afraid. They're afraid to be known. They have the courage to be in these situations, but then they're afraid to be known that is who they are, because these men want you to believe that they are nice and kind and generous, and then they flip it on you. And that's the to me that's the scariest part about this, is that, so many people are saying nice guys don't win, nice guys don't win, and it's like, okay, but I've always had a statement that a nice guy doesn't need to announce that he's a nice guy. Like, if he's a nice guy, he's just going to be a nice guy. And his concern isn't that his nice guyness isn't going to get him somewhere. He's just genuinely being who he is. I don't have a concern that my personality isn't going to get me somewhere. It's just who I am. I'm not being who I am to get some kind of gain from it. I'm being who I am because that's who I am. And if you are exhibiting behaviors that you think that will get you what you need, and that is your main concern, that's not who you really are. That's just who you're trying to be so that you can get somewhere in life. And you should really stop and take a second and examine exactly who you really are. But as far as this shit is disgusting. The fact that everything gets to press pause. And one of the reasons why I didn't record, luckily, was because I wanted to wait to get more information, because this information is coming out and it is wild. It's not, I don't even have words for it. It's please never again make me feel like crap about commenting about men. In fact, please soon look for my merch. Look for my merch coming out really soon, because y'all want to label me a man hater? Cool, great, love it. We're going to own it. We're just going to own this shit. So, I don't want to spend too much time talking about that topic. It makes me so angry to think about it, and there is something that's going on that has more of my attention anyways, but it's definitely something I want to talk about. So, while we're hopping off of that real quick, let's talk about something fun and exciting. Ariana Grande has announced new music, and it's been kind of secretive back and forth, and we're just like not really sure. Now she's posted a video. Now a video has been posted of her in the studio, and everyone is so excited. This is rumored, and I have it up here. It's rumored that it is going to be inspired by early 2000s pop rap Mariah Carey and Janet Jackson. And if that's not all that we needed in our lives, ah, we see the resurgence of this desiring this kind of music in K-pop, because K-pop's got, they were able to access our 90s, early aughts music, and we see this resurgent coming in the way that they see and express our music. And so now getting a chance to have that be in an album from one of my favorite singers, and then for one of my favorite singers' inspiration to be another one of my favorite singers. Just, I'm so excited. You guys don't even, I have, so at work, we just recently got a record player. And I'm a very aware that my music is not the preferred music by my coworkers. And does it suck sometimes? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it does suck sometimes. But I make my snarky comments at them sarcastically and I keep it going. But I'm excited to share my records with them. But I was like, okay, guys, I know that there's certain records that I can't share with you. And I know that those records are like my Mariah Carey and my Ariana Grande's. It's too poppy for like the music and the vibe there. But I have so many Mariah Carey and Ariana Grande records. And so I'm so excited to have a vinyl, hopefully coming soon, that is going to have this. And then Jessie Reyez drops a little low key album, vibe. Vibe. If you don't listen to Jessie Reyez, I need you immediately to change that. I first found Jessie Reyez when she had this song Shutter Island, and it was about like, if I'm crazy, that's cool. My stray jacket's custom made, and how that song lives rent free in my head to this day. Like, okay, I'm crazy, but at least my stray jacket is custom made. At least everybody knows my craziness. And she's evolved into such a beautiful, like chaotically spiritual artist that she owns her spirituality and herself and everything like that, but she's also like big fuck yous. And that is my that's like my spiritual energy. I'm all like love and light, but I'm also like love and light and take this bird. So that one's been really good. She released the freestyle that she dropped, like the album, this little short little album has a freestyle that she dropped last year that was freaking fire. And then there's a new song that just came out that I haven't had a chance to listen to yet, but definitely give Jessie Reyez like listen. She's a Colombiana and her music has Hispanic flares to it, but there's also like some rappy hip hop kind of vibes with it too. She has a song with Lil Wayne, she has a song with Black, Miguel. There's a lot of good stuff out there, so definitely give that a listen. I'm trying to think if there's any music that I can think of at this moment, and there's nothing. I know we talked about the trailer for Devil Wears Prada 2. We got that one. We've been getting a lot of superhero trailers. So there's a Mortal Kombat movie coming out, and then there's also a Street Fighter movie coming out. And I was a Tekken girl, just like access to video games. I had PlayStations more than I had anything else, although I did have like a Sega Genesis and a Sega Saturn when I was a kid. So I played a little bit of Mortal Kombat, but it was just a little, I don't know. Me and my brother just didn't connect with it as much. Maybe because my dad played a lot of Tekken, so we just ended up playing a lot of Tekken. But there's a Mortal Kombat movie coming out and a Street Fighter movie coming out, and both of them look kind of good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm never into fighting video games turning into movies as just not my vibe personally, but I am considering not going to theaters. Don't You won't catch me going to a theater to see it. Very rarely will you catch me going to theater to see anything. You might catch me Double Rose Prada. You will probably, like I said, I'm gonna make my mom take me. But when it comes out on digital screening, I would totally watch it just to like see, just to see what it's about. I know my friends are really excited. I keep a lot of friends who are in the gaming, anime, black nerd community, and they're really excited about that. I've also been telling one of my friends because she just needs to be on social media more. She is beautiful. She's gorgeous. She does cosplays. She has a banging body. And I'm like, you need to be posting more of these things on social media. And her and her husband, they're actually at a con right now. And I'm like, I'm always messaging her with ideas like, hey, uh, Mortal Kombat's coming out. Don't you have a like Mortal Kombat cosplay? She's like, yeah. I was thinking about redoing. I'm like, yeah, you need to get up on that because you need to be posting that on social media. You and your like, I'm there. So if you guys are cosplaying out there and you're like, what do I do? Wow. Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter are both having movies coming out really soon. Those would be really great things to start working on cosplays for so you can ride the hype of that movie coming out. Because it'd be great. I'm trying to think if there's some book stuff that was coming out. Oh, I'm trying to remember and I can't. I just consume media sometimes and it makes it really hard to remember. And I try to favorite everything and then I just don't remember what I did because then I favorite things and then I favorite more things. And it just becomes just like this crazy like cycle of consuming things. And then I don't consume things at all. Like I really shut down on social media this week. I wasn't feeling good and I was reading this book. It's Not Her. And I just finished it. I rated it 4 stars. And I'm gonna let you guys know. Library. It's called, I actually finished 2 books in the last time. Famous Last Words by Gillian McAllister. That was, I think I talked about this last time. That was super good. And then It's Not Her by Mary Kubica. That was also really, really good. I gave that one 4 stars. It's like the premise is this family is out on a vacation in a cabin, and then with like the father, mother, their kids, and then the father's sister, her husband, and her kid, they're all on like this group family thing, and then all of a sudden the father and the mother end up dead. Their son slept through all of it and their daughter is missing. And then the sister on the other side, she is trying to figure out what happened and then trying to find her niece. So it's like a twisty kind of murder mystery. And I've been really into murder mysteries right now. I'm just not feeling love. I just don't want to read about love. I maybe it's spurred from the conversation that we had on the podcast when Renee J was on the podcast and we were talking about how, you know, movies and shows that feature women and their storyline is all about love is just not my interest anymore. And I think that that's definitely where it's spurred from. And just like, I don't want to read about women falling in love right now. I want to read about women conquering the world and destroying things and creating chaos like that. That's what I want to read about. And not necessarily this other stuff. Like, I'm good. I don't want to know. I want a murder mystery. I want a thriller. I want something. I asked like Chat GPT about it, and they're like, "Yeah, you just want something that has like a cut, close, and end, and it keeps you going, but it has like an answer at the end." And I'm like, maybe that's it. A lot of love romance books, if you think about it, they're just open ended, and I mean all books in general are open ended, but with these there's not so many tropes that I have to deal with. They're like going through all that drama, but then there is at least an ending. There is a solution. The solution isn't, and then they live happily ever after. And you're left with, well, how do they live happy ever after? What does their romance look like? Like this book is like, oh, their lives, you already know. I know their lives are going to be fucked for a really long time. Especially with the end of this book and how the children kind of played into it, you just know. And this book had, I wrote it in my journal, it played on like your perception of good and bad, kind of what we were talking about earlier about the 62 million visit website and how we see all of these negative traits and we automatically assume that are going to be these people that are doing these questionable sketchy type things. Those are the people that we assume will end up being murderers, and the murderers are actually often the people that you don't expect, or the people that are keeping secrets, or the ones that are closest to you, or the ones that seem the kindest, and that they're doing, sadly, that they're doing something in service of you. Those are often the people that are the ones that end up being the ones that are capable. And, we think that murder is something that only evil people can do. But murder is something that, in the right circumstances, given the right pressures, that many people are actually capable of without really considering it. And this book really gets to explore that. And this is why I love reading, is because these are things that aren't in the text. These are things that are in the subtext, in the in between parts of the pages of the book. And it was just a really good experience to get to explore that a little bit. I am getting ready to read, and I just ordered it. It's going to be for the Indie Ink podcast because we have that coming up to record next week. The Adventures of Damnation Kane, which is by Theoden Humphrey. And I'm excited about that. It's like 375 pages, seems pretty chill. It came out in 2018, so nothing that's really new, but I'm looking for fun. It's supposed to have like pirates and adventure, and that is the mood that I'm in. So that's going to be my next book. And then I don't know what I'm going to read after I finish this book for the podcast. I'm still a part of the book of the month, and I still have some books that I haven't read. But like I said, I don't want romance. And the one who ordered the books probably wanted romance, and the one who is reading the books now does not want the romance. So we're going to see how that works. All right, off of the books, let's get a little bit more into some pop culture stuff. We've been talking about Taylor Frankie Paul for the longest time. And just so everybody knows, Taylor Frankie Paul was cleared of all criminal charges. And it's rumored that we are going to get the Bachelorette season, which means, baby, we're going to be back episodically recording. I am so excited. I really, really, really wanted to see the Bachelorette season. And it was sad to see Dakota not only sabotage this for Taylor, but sabotage this for everybody else that was in that season. And obviously, some of these men are in the season to find love, but they're also in the season to get seen and be noticed and all of those things. And there's so many missed opportunities that happen because of the what is now being described as lies that came from Dakota. There's so much to this, guys. It's starting to become insane. When the more that information starts to come out, the more you realize that this was just a targeted attack without a lot of information to give it like basis. And there's she gets cleared of the charges, which she's so happy about. She starts posting on social media more, which I'm so happy about, because watching a woman go through this because of a man, it's just been really hard. And I think it's been really hard on women in general. And so seeing her be cleared of these charges, and some of the charges, they were cleared because they said that things that were being raised were past the statute of limits. And I don't like, let's be clear, that doesn't mean that they had any validity to it. It just means that determining whether they have validity to it doesn't matter because they were past the statute of limitations. And then the one that he did bring up from this year, they didn't have sufficient evidence. So there's a win, but then Dakota has to still be brought up in the conversation. And a lot of people have been talking about how he has the recent Unwell thing that came out, the Unwell Games or something like that, by Alex Cooper, who is also in her own little bit of heat right now as well. But he was on that show just trying to like once again discredit Taylor, prove he's such a good guy. And I've never seen such a good guy have to go through this many lengths to prove that they're a good guy. One of the podcasts we recorded earlier, we were having a conversation about how people are going to believe whatever the fuck they want to believe about you no matter what, and just let them. I don't need to convince everybody that I am the person that I am. The people who know me, and that's what matters. The rest of you guys, you're going to see this interaction and you're going to think that you know who I am and you know what I want, and that's going to be it for you. Perfect example. When I was dating a long time ago, this guy came and he's like, I know this perfect doesn't ask me what the perfect date is, but he goes, I know this perfect date for you. And it's gonna be if we go down to an Eastern market or something and we're walking down to the record store and you're going through records or going through old books. And those are things that I absolutely love. Or if we're going to a museum and things like that. And those are perceptions that you get from me from social media. I talk about how much I love records and how much I love going outside and going to these open markets and art and beautiful things. But it shows how much you like think this perception of me is real, because in reality, that's not what I would want for a first date. I have social anxiety. The idea, by the way, the idea of walking around in a situation without knowing where I'm going and like, how do I behave? How do I act? What do I say? That is actually one of the most terrifying things for me to consider. That makes me so anxious. Like, how do I act? How do I be? That would be something that I would love to do with a partner. That's not something I would love to do on a date. Actually, what I would love to do on a date is eat. I just want to eat. I'm just hungry all the time. I'm hungry right now. I'm literally hungry right now. I want food. Feed me, see. But back to that, like Dakota's working so hard to change his perception and it's not working. But then he goes again. So TMZ gets these photos of Dakota, and my best guess is that because of the way that they arrange them, and a lot of people are like TMZ is working really hard to be on Dakota's side. They get these photos of Dakota. They're starting to be able to get the phone calls and conversations, the body camera footage of the situation. So they're starting to receive all this information from Dakota, and there's a side of it where Taylor Frankie Paul is showing her injuries as well. But there's this one that's going around social media, guys, and it's freaking hilarious. Clip this, please. It's freaking hilarious. And it's not hilarious because someone being damaged or someone being hurt is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not hilarious, but it's hilarious because this is obviously, I've shown this photo to so many people and their immediate reaction is, why is there ketchup on this man's face? That is not blood. There are TikTokers who are going and examining and talking to nurses and their family members about who work in the ER in a situation like that. And they're like, that's not blood. And so Dakota, these are photos that he sent. This is the narcissistic that he sent to the police department. And the photos are just of like scratches, which are quite often defensive wounds. Not always, but quite often defensive wounds. And they're just scratches kind of like on his neck. Very minimal stuff. And then the photo that most people are considering fake, I'm considering it fake. Because there's no way that blood just like sits on your face right here when you have a bloody nose. And it's also interesting because they also released the text messages, and the text messages are from Taylor Frankie Paul that Dakota's messaging her. And this is supposed to be after one of the alleged incidents that was in the car. And she's talking about how her nose might be broken and how it won't stop bleeding. And this is the part where Dakota asks her, does she want to fuck? Right after they got into this thing. And she's like, are you serious? And he's like, that's not what you said to me on the phone. And it's just insane. But I find it interesting to know that she was talking about how injured her nose was. But he's the one with the bloody nose photo. And once again, I can't imagine that if your nose is bleeding from an incident, that you would be like, pause and then go get paper towel and napkins, because you can clearly see in the photo it hasn't been tried. He hasn't tried to cover it up. He hasn't tried to wipe it. He hasn't tried to stop the blood from being on his face. The blood isn't dripping anywhere else. It very much looks fake and very it's actually gross to think about. But her injuries, yo, she has like a giant knot on her head that's blue and yellow and green, or green and yellow. She has bruises on her back. She has bruises on her elbow. Like those Those are like really physical wounds. And then they start to get into the calls. So the first call Dakota makes, you can hear like their son. This is what people are alleging. You can hear their son in the background, and you can hear Taylor Frankie Paul saying like please or something. And he's just like, never mind, my kid is hurt. I just, I wanted to know. And they're like, we can send someone over there. He's like, no. The next call is from his friend. And it's wild because his friend is this information the police doesn't need to know. So this information is, oh, hey, my friend Dakota, he's been in this relationship with the girl. Her name is Taylor Frankie Paul. She's about to be on the new episode. She's about to be on the new season of The Bachelorette. She's doing this and that. She's at reality TV. Like all of her background information before he even gets to the situation at hand. You would think that if you're making a 911 call about what's going on, you would be like, hey, my friend is hurt. His significant other, his not significant other is abusing him, and I can't, let this go on without giving all the information of the person first. Because what does the information matter? Unless that's what you want. You want to make sure that when that police report came out that you get the information. So that all comes to play. And then there are like lies. And one of the lies is that he says that Taylor Frankie Paul was freaking out and she attacked him and she was kicking in his thing and she broke his rearview mirror and she broke his screen. But then there's actual body cam footage of the police being there and checking his truck, and the rearview mirror still exists, even though he's like, yeah, she was kicking it with her feet and everything. Boy, that rearview mirror is not that secure. It's not. I'm gonna be honest with you. If someone's kicking that rearview mirror multiple times, it's coming off. It's not gonna be there. And then he said that the screen, and the police asked him, so yeah, you said the screen is missing or the screen is broken. And he's like, oh, actually, well, they're like, well, it looks like the screen works. Like, yeah, it's working now. And then he mentions how desperate he is to get the protective order so that, and he says this so that Taylor Frankie Paul doesn't get their son on his birthday. He says that on the thing, like, yeah, you can see how I'd be so afraid of her not getting my son on his birthday because I don't want him to be around this and everything. And yeah, I just don't think that it's like a good position. And then he mentions how her other kids are going to be taken away from her soon. And he just doesn't think that she's going to be in the right mind. So he wants to take away her son. And it's giving plotted. It's giving, I was trying to hurt someone and I'm trying to do everything that I can to get to her. And it's not working anymore because people are starting, and I love this digital age now where we can really start to hold people truly accountable. And all the people who are looking at this situation, they're being like, yo, something doesn't look right. Something doesn't feel right about the situation. And I got attacked so much on social media about this. And there were so many content creators who were talking about this that weren't reporting it responsibly and that were just reporting it so that they could get the clicks and they can follow the trend. And there's so many content creators out there, guys, who aren't giving you the real opinion, who aren't telling you what they really think and what they really feel. They're just telling you what they think you want to know. They're just telling what they think the public opinion is going to be or what they think is going to get them the most likes and everything. And that's such a dishonest thing. And we're talking about like free media. This is like freedom of speech. And these are people that you're going to look for their authentic opinions, and they're not giving it to you. One, because they're afraid of being wrong. Two, because they're just trying to get you to follow them. And so I wonder if what all of these creators who are jumping down Taylor Frankie Paul's neck, what are they saying now? If it wasn't for the fact that I blocked that one guy, the one big creator, I would want to know what he was saying, but I don't want to entertain that. I literally saw a TikTok and it said, um, name something that you cannot stand, and it's men with social media and a podcast. That part. That part. Let that sink in as much as you want. The amount of men who, and I want to be clear, there are some men who I've seen on my social media who have truly came in defense of Taylor Frankie Paul and knew from the beginning that something was up. And you guys can stay. I like you. You can stay. Mostly because you aren't just gassing up the treatment of women just so that you can get more clicks or you can further your agenda. Like you're actually caring about what the actual situation is and the narrative of it is and how it impacts women. But like I said, so many of these content creators these days, they don't give a shit about what they say and how it impacts the world. They don't give a shit about the world around them. They care about clicks and whether you like them or whether you don't. And I guarantee you that's not something that I care about. Like, obviously, I'm a content creator. I care about where my content's going. That's a business. I care about it from a business and a brand. But I'm not going to change my opinion on something simply because I don't think it's popular. I'm not fucking popular. So I don't care about being popular or having popular opinions. I care about reporting things as responsibly as I can. And shit, I'm going to make mistakes and recognizing that I'm human, but also speaking up for people who don't have someone to speak up for them. And I'm so glad in this Taylor Frankie Paul situation that she had someone to speak up for her. I'm glad that that finally came out. And I hope that this changes the perception, although I don't think it will. I mean, look at what we're just talking about that just came out with the 62 million. There's still going to be people out there who are going to be predators of women. And Dakota clearly is one. And he's a predator of Taylor Frankie Paul. He's an abuser. He's someone that when this situation happened, and by the way, this situation happened because he wanted to talk to her because he was hurting. And he came to her house and he asked her if he can come in. And she's like, no, I can't come in. And we talked about this. He asked if she come in. She's like, no, the kids are sleeping. And then she's like, we'll talk in the car. And then he kidnaps her. And then he does all of this. This is someone who doesn't care. This is someone who doesn't care about the kids like he says he does. He doesn't care about like what he's doing. And then he does all this and flips the story to try to get it to like look good on him, but to hurt her more, to make her seem like she's the one that doesn't care about her kids or everything like that. And when the truth comes out, then you're just like, oh, we were so wrong about this. And you were. And I'm happy that Taylor Frankie Paul's things are being reinstated. I'm happy that her projects are coming back. And I'm happy that a lot of these things are going to start being back. I hope that the Secret Life of Mormon Wives are going to be resume filming soon. I know that a lot of people are trying to get these women to go against each other and how frustrating it was that they all didn't support Taylor. And it is frustrating, but also at the same time, it's expected. Sadly, Taylor's behavior isn't perfect. And there are issues in it. And no one has ever said that there wasn't. There's definitely a lot of issues in it. And I could see someone wanting to not have all the information and like wanting to step back and wait for everything to come out. That lets you know how the like level of depth of friendship that it has. And some people probably supported her privately without having to do it publicly. But I would say like that doesn't mean that this person hates you. That just means that you know how invested this person is in you and what level of friendship they are. And let them do it because shit, that's answers all my questions for me. That makes it easier for me. But there's so much we could talk about this and we're just not going to. But our last little thing is that we did get a sneak peek at Ariana Grande's next movie project. And it's the next like segment movie in the Meet the Fockers. Meet the Fockers 4 is called Focker in Law. And Ariana Grande is hilarious, even just in the previews, and she's just so cute. And I love to see her back in her acting role. And I love to see the embracing of both of these roles where she gets to be a singer and an actress. And, we had a conversation about the podcast recorded earlier about how it's inspiring seeing celebrities do more than one thing now because it inspires us women to do the same thing. Like we don't have to limit ourselves to I don't have to limit myself to being just an author. I don't have to limit myself to being just a podcaster. I don't have to limit myself to being just a business owner or a content creator. I can try to expand in so many different ways and create different like avenues of revenue that it just benefits me. And seeing someone glow up in all aspects of their life, like, okay, for this amount of time, I'm going to focus on acting, cool. And then this time, I'm going to dedicate to making music, and they are all like interwoven. And I love that. And it's the level that I want to be at for myself. It's one of the reasons why I'm putting myself out there more as an author, which is scary to me. I still haven't written as much as I want to, but I am getting ready to have that writer's retreat coming up. And I think that I'm using that as like a crutch to get back into it. But I also know that there's so many other projects that I want to dedicate my time to. And I do want to dedicate a lot of time to working on getting these in front of people more. And when the creative juices come and they flow, I know what all of these are going to look like. It's just taking the time to sit down and dedicate to them. And I know that'll come one day too. So I'm just allowing everything to exist. And then when everything is ready, everything is ready. And I think that that's one of the things I love about watching Ariana Grande's experience right now is that she's letting whatever flows through her flow, however it wants to flow, and trusting that when it's right, when it's meant for her, when it's working, that's what it's going to do. Okay, let's see if we have anything else. I don't think we do. Like I said, there's been so much. There's so many topics that I want to talk about, and there's so many things for us to catch up on. And I'm just like, I'm tired. There's so many things that are happening, and I'm tired. Oh my gosh, wait. The releasing of the I thought we were done. The releasing of the last, oh my gosh, Avatar: The Last Airbender movie. That shit is wild. I've thought about watching it. I'm not gonna lie. It's not supposed to be out, but I'm a movie nerd, right? I used to be in film production, and I saw that, they posted just about how hard they worked on this project and how excited they were for this project to exist. And then for someone to like leak all of their work and leak all of the things that they worked so hard to get out and not in the way that they planned. And I was like, oh, damn, maybe I won't. Maybe I won't watch it yet. Maybe I'll wait to see what they're going to do about it. I think it's Paramount. I don't know what Paramount's going to do or how they're going to handle this leak per se. I don't know if they're just going to go ahead and release it or they're going to re-edit it. I don't know. It's a really big thing. It's apparently they sent it to a couple of people for like previews and things like that, and like hacked the link and shared that link and put it on Twitter, and people have just been watching and reposting. Do I have the link? Yes. Am I going to share the link? No. If you want to find it on your own, that's you. I do support the artist's right to be able to share their art when they want to. And I do think that like this desire that we have to consume this media so much so quickly, get the new scoop, it ruins enjoying the art as well. Like it ruins the fun of it. This was something that I wasn't even aware was happening, although some people were. But this is something that someone worked so hard on, and they probably had so much planning and how is this going to look and what are we going to do for marketing and everything like that. And now it's just ruined. It's just gone. There's nothing that they can gain from it anymore. We just took it away from them. And that does actually make me really sad when I think about it. So I'm not going to watch it, even though the clips of this movie look great. The clips look freaking great and they look amazing. And I'm just going to support the artist in that stance and wait. Hopefully I'll be able to cover it for you guys when I get a chance to watch it and we'll know more, but I'm not going to do that. They do that to authors all the time. It happens to so many authors and I'm dead terrified of it happening to me. Um it's just you try to go out there and you try to share this and give people these opportunities, and it's ruined. It gets ruined because these people, they want to exploit you and they want to exploit your art, and that's the frustrating part. And as an artist, you don't want to create your art anymore because it becomes this thing that no longer belongs to you, and there's a lot of betrayal and people that you trusted that betrayed that, and it's so convoluted, and I don't want to have anything to do with it. So I'm going to wait. Although I really, 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 really want to see it. I'm going to wait. I'm going to keep watching Criminal Minds because that's my new binge right now. And I am going to make sure that I watch Pretty Lethal. I have like a day that I set aside to watch these things. So I'm going to make sure I watch Pretty Lethal, guys. I promise. As long as my mindset is good and nothing messes that up. We'll see. But until then, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode and getting recapped with everything that's going on in this world with me. And till then, also, please don't forget to follow us on social media, as by me, at Basically Unbothered Podcast on all your social media platforms. Don't forget that if you love this episode, give me 5 stars, give me reviews, share, tell people that I am your new favorite podcast. And until then, guys, thank you, and I will see you next time. Bye. Gabby Gabs Podcast.